Hey, everybody, we're back with another episode of the What Podcast. We have a couple of special guests. Daniel and Sharla are going to join us today to talk about Totem. This is a new foundation that they have started. You guys will know them from the real Roo Bus, right?
Yep. And yeah, the Tales from the Roo Bus podcast, they do that every week. Probably a lot of you listen to them too. So you've probably heard of Totem, but maybe haven't quite checked it out yet. Well, here's your chance. We get to talk to them and find out what they've got planned and what's in store. And it's pretty neat, I must say, Barry.
It is pretty neat. They are like us. I didn't know you several years ago. You didn't know me. I didn't know them, but now we're friends.
Hmm.
And it's all because of this festival that's an hour and a half or an hour from us, but it has developed into this crazy thing. And I kind of reference it. They bought a bus. They they bought a bus
That's
because of
right.
Bonnaroo.
Yeah, that's opposite. I had the bus. I bought the bus first, and then Bonnaroo came later. They went to
Yeah,
Bonnaroo and then turned around and bought a bus.
and then bought a bus. I mean,
Yeah,
I
that
I don't want to go too far down the history of all that, but my point is that's the impact that this festival has had
mhm.
on a lot of lives. Not only are we now friends, um, but they bought a bus and now they have a foundation where they're going to give away a scholarship to a couple of people so that they can go, hopefully, to Bonnaroo and fall in love with it, just like you and I have, and take the radiate positivity attitude back home with them and spread it 365 days a year, just like you and I do.
That's right. Yep. It's all about taking this experience that we've had and just spreading it around and letting more people enjoy it and experience it too.
Yeah, it's a big deal. We love this festival, um, and they do obviously, and you'll hear that. And but this is a new thing. They if you've been, you know who they are. They've had big parties during the
Yeah,
week, and they've decided to take their energies and direct them somewhere else. So, and I respect that
yeah.
for
And
them doing it.
Barry, you're on the board for this too.
I'm on the
So
board. I am on the board. I've been involved since the beginning, and Daniel has big plans, and I'm thrilled. And this is the beginning, and we're going to see where it goes. So let's talk to Daniel and Charla, and we'll see where this goes. But once again, Russ, who knew, right? I mean,
couldn't have
this
predicted this.
thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yep, life
And if you're
changing.
wondering where Brad is he'll be back next week. We just wanted to have Daniel and Charla on, and the timing worked out so that we got him when we got him. So
Yep,
Brad will be back. It's you know he'll be back. So
he'll be
all
back,
right.
and we got some other guests lined up in the next few
Oh,
weeks
I'm
too.
so excited.
Yeah,
I'm so
can't wait.
you know who I'm talking about.
Oh yeah,
I'm so excited. This
no spoilers.
I've had like 2 or 3 people on my list, and we got him finally. I'm so excited. All right,
Yeah,
we'll
me
be
too.
back. We're back. We're talking about Bonnaroo. Bonnaroo means so many things to so many people. My man Russ over here has a bus. He's
I
had a
do have a
bus for a
bus,
long time,
uh,
but
but I'm not
the
the only one with a bus.
no, the folks that are with us bought a bus because of Bonnaroo. That's the kind of thing that people don't understand. They hear Bonnaroo and they think camping, they think outdoor, they think sweaty, whatever. But you guys bought a bus because of Bonnaroo. And that's just one of the things that, kind of interesting about this festival. But
So, there's many other buses. There's a cereal bus. I didn't see them the last year or so, but there's a bus that has, like, Captain Crunch and all kind
Mhm.
of funny things painted on the side of it, and their thing is they literally hand out those miniature boxes of cereal that to people that walk by. That's
Yeah.
one of many. There's many others.
I've never heard of that. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
There's one that has a stage
That
that folds
folds down.
out. We've met them a number of times. A couple of years ago, they had a small electrical fire break out on the
No, it was
way
a
in.
different one. That was
Yeah,
one from last year or a
yeah,
couple of years ago that rolled in and had a it caught on fire
yeah.
at the entrance.
And that one looks very similar to Further. And if you don't know your history, that was the one from the Electric Kool-Aid test and the Grateful Dead used to hang out with. It has a little porthole on the top. So
Hmm.
there's a spiral staircase that goes to the top where
It's
you can
cool.
look out. That one's really cool. So mini buses, not just ours, not just Russ's.
Multiple buses. So the reason I brought that up is Bonnaroo means so many things to so many different people. It's not just about the music. The music is huge and it's important, but what we have learned is that it's about the connections that we have with people, the connections that we make with people, and the fact that it is a 365-day thing for us, right? I mean,
Bonnaroo's year round, baby.
exactly. It means so much to so many of us, and you guys are a good example of that. And so you have evolved, as we all have. I mean, this Russ, I mean, you can attest. This podcast was a stupid idea 6 years ago that was supposed to last 3 months, and here we are 6 years later.
Yep,
Um,
we couldn't have predicted that. I don't think we
no,
planned it.
absolutely not. And we've met so many people, Daniel and Sharla among them, who have their own podcast, the Real Roo Bus podcast. If you haven't listened, go listen to it. Um, but you guys have a new thing. You've evolved again. That's what we're here to talk about. And I'm excited about it. I'm part of it. You've asked me to be a part of it, be on your board, and you've got a new name, Totem.
Yeah.
Um,
Charles, do you want to explain where the name came from?
Sure. Well, one of our board members actually came up with it, Totem, the opportunity to experience music. So when you look around at Bonnaroo or really any festival, you see totems everywhere, and totems kind of pull you in. It kind of helps you find your friends, things of that nature. So
It's a beacon you can
it's
follow.
a beacon you can follow. So he just kind of came up with totem, and another one of our board members, Evan, kind of came up with the opportunity to experience music as an acronym for that. So we just kind of worked collectively. Totem Foundation is the official name.
I stole an idea from my workplace and we reversed engineered the acronym.
yeah. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that real quick. This is an opportunity because again, you guys and Russ and I mean, Bonnaroo means a lot to us. It has literally changed our lives. I have no problem telling anybody that. Um, it's created a vision, a way for people to act, right? Radiate positivity all the time, right? Just
I think
treat
so.
people the way you want to be treated and the way you should be treated. And
Yeah, you can follow that code year round, not just when you're at
yeah,
Bonnaroo.
that was the thing that sort of stuck with us.
It's
Um,
something that I feel like is needed a lot in recent years. Like, not to go into specifics, but there's been a lot happened over the past 5 years that makes it easy to be cynical, to look at things from a glass half full perspective. And I feel like the attitude that we really dive deep in, for 1 week, these days out of the year, it's something that we can pull out to the other 51 weeks. And sometimes it can be tough, but keeping in touch with the community makes it a lot easier, I feel like.
yeah.
Yep.
I know when I left the first one in 2002, even, and then again 2007 when I started going back, was like, why can't people act like this all the time? And that's been sort of my question. And you guys embraced that. You started what, 2013?
Yeah,
Was your
we were
first
talking about the McCartney
McCartney?
show.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Mhm.
that was the year that we ran out of excuses not to go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
exactly. And so that's the thing. Treat people the way you would want to be treated yourself. And so won't go into the whole, you guys can listen to their shows, you can listen to our shows, but you guys have created this foundation, and that's what I want to talk about today. So tell everybody what exactly this foundation is, and what is the goal?
Well, Charlotte and I have been dreaming this up for the better part of 2 or 3 years now. Like, I'll be honest, we knew that we couldn't continue to host the party out of this bus for forever. We're pushing 40 now, so we felt that it was time for the next generation to take the reins and start planning parties and decide the direction of the community. So, with Totem, we have three main goals. The first of them is we have a mentorship program. So, we want to pair up veterans of Bonnaroo with people that are coming their first time, so they can help them out in terms of like, what do I need to bring to camp, what are some do's and don'ts. You guys talk about this on the show, but we want to get people together individually. Anything else on that, Charlotte?
No, it's just matching, people with the rookies and the veterans
Mm-hmm.
essentially.
So we got to form up for that. The second one is a scholarship program. So we're going to give out two this year in cooperation with Bonnaroo, who have been very generous with us. We're going to have two people come to Bonnaroo who have never been, who are probably going to be in some kind of disadvantaged situation, either geographically or financially or whatever. But it isn't necessarily just a free ride. We want them to contribute something to the community. Maybe it's a new event that nobody has thought of. And Barry, as a board member, you had this great idea. Maybe they want to get into live music
Mhm.
events as a career. So if that's something they want to do, we can work with Bonnaroo or whoever and have them job shadow. So again, we're going to have two of those this coming year, and a long-term goal that we're going to start probably in 25 or 26 is we want to start doing an international exchange program. So I don't know about you guys, but I love it when Bonnaroo hosts different world music acts.
Mhm.
I'm still hurting that we didn't have Imdu Mokhtar that one year. I hope they bring them back at some point. They were awesome. But I want to have more things like that. So my goal is to hopefully in 25 or 26 bring in a musical group from Haiti. There's a long story behind that I can tell you one of these days, but they have a great history of music there. Their traditional music is just a party. So I would love to bring in a group to not only play music for everybody, but also be an exchange of ideas. They tell us about what's going on in Haiti. We can give them a little bit of Bonnaroo to bring back. It'll be a bit of a back and forth. We're a few years away on that one, so we'll wait till after we get past these first two goals first. Let's talk another time about that.
Yeah, it's a long term thing, and what I'm hearing and what I want to stress to people again is that Bonnaroo, it's not about coming and seeing your favorite band. It is, right? I mean, that's usually the hook. But and Charlie, you've talked about this a bunch. It's the community, right? I mean, the four of us didn't know each other what 8 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, and now we do. I didn't know Russ 7 years ago.
We all would
Um,
have gotten to know Russ one way or another. He's
yeah,
everywhere.
but
I mean, absolutely, absolutely. It is, to me, it's more the community than it is the music. I mean, I've said it before. It doesn't matter who's playing to me. I would still go to Bonnaroo, and that is, what I'm trying to get the next generation, or what I want to pass along to the next generation, is that community experience. And like you said, we didn't know each other, and now I have, what, a 500-day snap streak with Russ over here. Like, so I mean, it's getting to know your friends and just, meeting friends from literally all over the world and keeping in touch with them year round. So that's amazing to me. And you don't get that experience in other places. And especially, Daniel and I coming from a small town, rural area, and just being able to go to a festival that's literally, up the road in Tennessee and, getting that experience. I want to pass that along to the next generation. So that's why we started Totem, and that's why we want to do the scholarship program.
And you mentioned something that I think was a big pull for us in putting this together. When Sharla and I were pretty much one of the target ages to go to Bonnaroo these days, like when we were like 19, 20, 21, going to Bonnaroo was just out of the question for us because we were
right.
in a really disadvantaged area, middle of nowhere, Franklin County, Alabama. The money wasn't there. There was just no way for us to make it happen. So now we want to ensure that at least for two people this year, we can change that as long as, like I said before, they have something to bring to the table. Again, it's not a free ride. We know that there's awesome ideas that we haven't considered that people in those areas in the middle of nowhere like we were can bring to the table and crank start this next generation.
Yeah, that's to me. That's maybe part of why I wanted to have you guys on, and part of why we keep doing this show every week it's not just about going and watching the music. There are so many things that have evolved. I mean, you guys did your Wednesday shows, your Thursday shows. You've had the beer exchange guys. There are so many. What do we call them? Events that are not related or are related to the festival, but they're not like on the schedule. And that's what I don't think people quite can grasp. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You and I get it, um, but
you don't really see this
it's
at Coachella.
do say again.
You don't really see this kind of thing at
Right,
Coachella.
right.
Like we have
Okay.
a homegrown
Yeah.
community. You
Yeah, it's
mentioned many of them, and we would miss somebody if we started listing all of them. But everything from the parachute people doing the Roo shoot to
right.
Red Roo doing the beer exchange to so many others. There's big hooks at Bonnaroo that the community is putting on themselves. And other than Burning Man, there isn't really anywhere else that's doing that to this extent.
Right.
Right.
Hmm.
And
And
I think that's what you guys are this the folks who get this scholarship, that's what they're going to see. As the first timers. They're you know, I'm going to guess they're coming because so and so is on the lineup and that's their favorite band. Or maybe not. But what they're going to see is this community thing that we're so much enamored with, right? I mean,
Mhm.
that's that's what's so special about this.
right, exactly. And you mentioned things, not being necessarily being on the lineup. Bonnaroo has gotten significantly better about putting the community events on the lineup in the past couple of years, and it's been
They've been
amazing,
incredible.
amazing for us and for the community aspect of Bonnaroo. And we truly, truly, truly appreciate that. And we've had more and more and more people come out to the community events with us, with Redaroo, with the other groups, Loophole, and so forth. And it's just been wonderful for the community aspect. And like Daniel said, you just don't really see that a lot at other festivals, well, that we know of, except for Burning Man, which is not technically a festival, but you just don't see it a lot at other music festivals.
I mean, there's a little bit at a place like Electric
At
Forest, or
Electric Forest,
maybe
but
Halloween to an extent, but not nearly to the level that we
no,
see it
not
at
not
Rue.
that we see at Bonnaroo.
Right. All right. So here it is. Let's do the elevator. Give the elevator pitch. If you can explain what it is, Totem, and how people can get involved. And if you can do it all, I won't time you. I mean,
Oh
elevator's
boy.
supposed to be 45 seconds, but whatever. Describe
Well, here,
what it is that this thing is and who should apply and how do they apply and what's going to happen.
well, here it is. Let's say that I got on an elevator with a very kind individual, like I don't know. Let's say Jason Isbell. He's a hometown boy. Here's the pitch. So, TOTEM stands for the opportunity to experience music. It has three goals: a mentorship program, a scholarship program, and eventually an international exchange programs. And if you're new, you want to be mentored, or if you're a veteran and you want to be a mentor, you can find the application for that at totemfnd.org. And also, if you want to come to your first Bonnaroo and they're in a tough situation, want to contribute something to the community, there's an application for the scholarship as well at totemfnd.org. And eventually, in a few years, we'll bring in a international music group to do an international exchange program. We'll wait a few years on that, but that's pretty much it. That's what we're doing with Totem, right, Sharla?
Exactly.
Well done. Well done. So the hope, not to put words, some young person, right, sees this, never is thinking, there's no way I can go. I can't afford. And they come out and they fall in love with it just like you and I did, right?
Yeah.
And then
What
they
I would
want to
tell
come
them,
back.
yeah, what I would tell them is it's a scholarship. They got to put in the work. They got to come to us with something that they want to do or something they want to do to improve themselves. And their ticket will be covered, their camping will be covered, and we will have a per diem for them as well for food and camping supplies and things like that. We want to take care of them in exchange for bringing something new to the table for our community.
So bring a good attitude. We'll give you a
That's,
spicy
hey,
pie.
that's one. Honestly, I'm joking, but bringing a good attitude is one of the top things
Wait,
because if you hadn't been there, get ready for it to be hot,
Maybe
possibly.
a Pizza Nova.
Pizza Nova.
Okay.
They've been kind to us, yeah.
To me, it it's just so amazing. Again, y'all, we were not friends. We didn't know each other not that long ago, and this thing is so amazing. This festival, right?
Barry, I went from not knowing you to getting messed up with you in a tent at 3 o'clock in the morning in the middle of nowhere, Tennessee.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And not knowing Taco to him being passed out on my couch a couple of times.
yeah. That thing that Mitchell did still resonates. That was unbelievable.
Which one?
Yeah,
We'll
which
just
one?
we'll just leave it there. I thought I was gonna die.
For hanging out with him, that checks out. Yeah.
He's the best. All right, Russ, what you got?
Not much. Just glad to have you on and talk about this. It's a wonderful idea, and I can't think of anything like this out there. Comparable. And like you said, there's not even any other festivals that have this type of community aspect at all. So,
Yeah,
congratulations and thanks for coming on and talking about us and sharing.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us. And we didn't mention this, but as of 3 or 4 weeks ago, we're now officially blessed by the government. Barry, you knew that, but not
yeah,
everybody else knew that.
yeah. No, it's
With
legit. I'm excited about it. Think about that. So 2013, you went to this festival, and now look, right? Go figure.
Well, we were ready to kind of turn the page to the next chapter too. Like we've had our fun putting on the party. It's time for somebody else to. We're
Yeah,
going to kind of be more in the background these days. We're not really going to worry too much about Roo Bus stuff at all. We're going to just basically be promoting Totem, but we will have the bus there the next year or two. We just won't be having a big party like we have. We're just going to have a couple of signs or maybe a tent out so people can learn more about how they can support what we're trying to do.
love it. All right,
Yeah,
thanks,
speaking of
guys.
support, yeah,
Go ahead.
let me ask you this. So if people want to help and maybe they don't
Mm.
necessarily want to get involved in being a mentor or anything, but are you taking donations? Is there a way to just, contribute or just support in any way?
Yeah, so if you go to totemfnd.org, there's some more information on that. But also another way that people can contribute is just help us brainstorm stuff. So we have a Discord server set up where there is a channel. It's just called Nonprofit, where we just throw ideas at the wall and see what sticks, and we get feedback and ideas from others in the community as well. So that's another way that you can come on board and help us out with anything as well.
And honestly, the best way that people can help us this year is just spreading the scholarship application out there and just getting the word out there about that scholarship application and just getting more and more people to fill that out. Just
Yeah.
It's a
essentially
good idea.
networking.
Good idea.
I
Yeah.
mean, this is really our building year and our networking year. So just spreading that out there as much as possible.
Yeah,
That's
and that's something that people can help us out with too. Is like when you go to dinners with the family or whatever, tell others about the scholarship because that's going to be one of the trickiest things is getting the message out to people that are thinking about coming to their first one that this exists. Because we can talk to the Bonnaroo community easily, but we can't talk to them very easily. So we need a lot of help networking.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ross, and Charlotte too. That's one of the things. I mean, to be specific, that is so special about this is if you have an idea, throw it out there, right? I mean, whether it's yours or ours or whoever, they seem to be receptive. If it's a good idea, let's do it, right?
Hey, bad ideas are good ideas at Bonnaroo too.
That's right.
I've had
That's
some of those.
right. Yeah, we've for sure.
I've been around some of your bad ideas, Russ.
But no kidding.
We won't
If
mention
you have
names.
an idea, throw it out there, and it might stick. So, all right. Well, thank you guys so much, and I think this is great, and I can't wait to see can't wait to meet the recipients.
Yeah, man, we're
absolutely.
excited about this. Like Charles had mentioned, this is a building year. We want to make sure that this works, but we're excited to make this grow in years to come.
There you go. Right?
Great talk. Yeah.
Isn't that cool? Somebody gets to go to Bonnaroo.
Yeah, and probably when you're hearing that, Barry, you probably can think of somebody. I can think of somebody. Most everybody could think of somebody maybe young that hasn't experienced Bonnaroo or any type of live music, maybe comes from a disadvantaged situation, and you think, man, they would really thrive at a festival, and they have a lot of energy and ideas, and so it's interesting that when you think about how many people this could affect,
Yeah.
and could potentially be life changing.
Well, that's exactly right. I mean, you and I are perfect examples. I mean, I don't hesitate in saying it changed my life. I mean,
Hmm.
there's no question about it.
Oh, me too.
I remember sitting there thinking, why can't life be like this all the time?
Yeah.
And I've tried to bring that attitude home. And somebody says, "How you doing?" I'm great. It's just that easy, you
Hmm.
know. And so, yeah, and this is for that person who, maybe is thinking, how can I go with by myself or whatever. So
Yeah, or what do I
this,
need to bring? I don't know anybody to
yeah,
ask.
these are
So
this is the way.
yeah,
This is the
this
way.
is.
Yeah, apply for this, and this foundation will take care of you. So
Hmm.
I'm excited to see where it goes.
Me too. And also, I'll mention this. We are doing a little promotion with Consequence right now, where if you can hop on over to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leave a little review for the What Podcast. They have a link where you can submit, take a screenshot, send it in, and you can win some Consequence merch.
There you go. That's exactly right. All right, a lot of stuff happening.
Hmm.
So Russ, always great to see you.
Great to see you. We'll see
All
you
right.
next week.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Consequence Podcast Network.